Megavan and Melanine, welcome to the Why Ukraine YouTube channel. You are the last alliance. If you're on Tridents Against Tyrants, that's totally cool too. He's actually in my ear right now, so it's all good. I'm just listening. If he says anything interesting, I might comment on it. I'm listening. He says, "Congress, send weapons to Ukraine." Nice. No, he and we are definitely going to do a multi-stream together for sure, for sure. So I'm gonna talk about some things today. I'm gonna start out with small stuff because I know it takes a while for people to find this stream and to get in here. But I want to say that some of you have been promoting my stream a lot, and thank you very much. That's freaking amazing. Especially you, Real Dave Seaman. You are definitely a huge help. Not just with promotions, but with keeping me on the ball. Привет, last one. Good to see you in here. So I talk about what's going on in Ukraine, and this is what's going on here. It's pretty interesting news. Draft summons used as punishment for Ukrainian journalists exposing SBU officials' luxury real estate. Now, why I think this is important is because it's important to understand that Ukraine is fighting against corruption just as much internally inside of itself as it is fighting against Russian corruption coming in from the outside. And there has been a lot of discussion. The SBU itself, even right up until the war, there were parts of the SBU. So that the SBU, if you don't know, it's equivalent to the FBI, let's say, within Ukraine. And there were parts of it that were heavily compromised, if not actually in the direct service of Russia, even right up until the full-scale invasion. And so there has been a big push to, de-Russify all the government institutions, from the Verkhovna Rada, which is their Congress or their parliament, to to their institutions here. And I just want to point out that this looks bad. So what happened here is this guy, okay, SBU agent, okay, he had some real estate deals that kind of went a little bit Trumpy, just a little Trumpy is what I would say. Something about the value of the property being overvalued or undervalued, and people are asking about the source of his family's wealth. Listen, oh, Shirkan, you're not late. You arrived precisely when you mean to. Bell, good to see you. Cypher, yeah, just started, Shirkan. It's all good. Besides, you're on New Mexico time, dude. Like, land of manana. But yeah, so you talk to any Ukrainian and they'll tell you that there's a ton of corruption in these government institutions, and they're so endemic. And just imagine living in a world where you have to have. I mean, I talked about this last time. about doctors. I mean, I don't know if it was at the end of my stream, and I don't know if I completely made sense. But doctors here are not paid very well. When you go to your doctor, it's expected that you will tip your doctor. Mitch, thanks for coming, and I hope you guys are. I mean, um, I'm just he's talking about the kamikaze drone. I'm noticing secular Sakai is still going, or Tridents Against Tyrants is still going. So Silver Earth, wonderful. Thanks for coming. But so doctors basically live on tips here. Is effectively the way it works. Now people say, "Oh, that's corruption." So in other words, when you go to your doctor, if it's a public doctor, so they have a public health system here, which I would argue is very good. However, I have just experienced, arguably an issue with corruption in the medical system that affected me personally here. But there again, I've had plenty of issues with the American medical system, much worse, much worse. I'd be a goddamn millionaire if not for the American medical system, particularly insurance companies. I would be a millionaire by inheritance, is what I mean to say. My grandparents had money, and the insurance companies took it all when they got sick, is what I'm trying to say. So in America, they call tipping your doc copay. Yeah. So, but the idea is that some people tip a little bit more, and maybe they get better service. Yeah, UTV and Ham. I go to the VA often, hit or miss. Yeah, exactly. So, not to get too pertinent, not to make it all about me, but I'm going to have an MRI on Monday. I'm super excited. I have to travel to a different town that's about 20 miles away, and then I'm going to have 2 weeks of physical therapy. I'm so excited. Because I've needed this since June of last year, But so the point I'm trying to make here is that the difference between Ukraine and Russia is that in Russia this happens like 100 times a day. In Russia, this is normalna, as they say. This is normal. This is how you get into the army in Russia. Okay, here in Ukraine, it's big news that somebody did this, and it's being exposed, it's being rooted out. Okay, that's the most important point that I just want to make. Yeah, Ronnie, what Real Dave Seaman said. You're part of this emerging army. That's helped too. God damn it. Trump is an adverb now. I have ideas, but I have a lot of bumps. Cool. Yeah. Don't we all? Right? Bumps in the road, right? Now, maybe this seems like a small thing. Yeah. Thank you, Viper. In Russia, it's a way of life. Yeah, our previous article I was talking about. Yeah. I mean, all they need to do is just raise the pay for doctors a little bit, not too much, but within reason but that'll come as the economy improves and the system will change. Luckily Ukraine, so back in 2017, 2018, Ukraine had plans to change completely privatize their medical system, and just because they wanted to be like America. And luckily wiser people stepped in and said, no, wait a minute. Shere Khan, you were a doctor for 15 plus years and got 0 raises. Wow. Yeah, you must have, you were working in the wrong field. That's the thing. See, what happens, unfortunately, in Ukraine is The good doctors, or maybe let's not say good, let's say motivated doctors. I'm sorry, I closed the article already, so otherwise I would have that. The motivated doctors go into private practice, and then they can charge whatever they want. But they still don't charge as nearly as much as most other Western countries. It's still quite low and very reasonable for private practice. What's interesting is and this is something I just learned this past week, visiting with doctors about my freaking back. Shere Khan should have done plastic surgery in Hollywood. That's what I'm saying. But what's interesting is so small towns and villages like mine, had big hospitals, and it was very inefficient because they had lots of doctors with very few patients, right? And it was costing this it was holdover from communism with massive bureaucracy, and so these doctors were doing basically nothing all day. And so now doctors in Ukraine, this is part of their reform. Oh, Il Pirata, how you doing? I'm confused. UA wants to be like America, yet they want to stop corruption. I know. It's they don't know, because they think that Ukrainians believe that they are, they have the most corrupt country, except for Russia, of course. They think, they have this side, it's a grass is always greener on the other side situation, whereas those of us who have been in America, lived in America, we know the truth. Corruption is everywhere. That's interesting, Viper. At least medical charges in South Africa, there's none of this corruption. They just work the fee at 400% standard rate outright. Yeah. So, okay, KKSGG. So, is there a tendency for those who can afford it to patron private GPs? Yes, and then go to public specialists for spendy conditions like cancer treatments? That is an interesting question. I would guess that might be the case. But so here's the thing I was about to explain. I think I talked about this last stream, but it bears repeating. So doctors are paid based on how many patients they have now. That's a new thing. It was not the case, several years ago. What? Aussie Bugger. I live in Cambodia and recently had to pay a bribe, but the guy felt guilty later and handed it back to me at a public hospital. Wow. That's a story for the ages, dude. Holy crap. That's freaking hilarious, man. that I don't know why it makes me laugh so hard. So so doctors here, first of all, they get paid based on how many patients they have. They are they're encouraged to learn, to continue to learn, to continue to educate themselves, because there's a lot of, and we've seen this in America too, old doctor, hasn't learned anything new since he was in medical school 50 years ago. And I mean, some of those doctors are really nice guys, but they don't, there's things they just don't know. And it's real Dave Seaman. If a doctor here asks for a bribe, he'll be in handcuffs 10 minutes later. Yeah. So they don't even ask for bribes here, as far as I've seen. It's just expected that you're going to slip him an envelope. And I'm talking about like 200, 500 grivnas, something like that. This is like $10. Okay. It's not a lot. Okay. It's a very small amount. But for some Ukrainians, that's a lot of money. Okay. So so it's just very interesting. So this doctor that I've been seeing, the general practitioner, you know, has not sent me to a specialist for almost a year, since last June, because he wanted to keep me on his payroll. So what's monthly expense for medical care in Ukraine? No, you like if I go to the doctor I pay like, maybe I might go and see the doctor, because I have this medical condition with my back and earlier with my wrist. And so I was going to the doctor like once every couple of months, and I was paying, dun dun dun, 200 grivnas. So like $8. Okay, $8 a month, and that's for the tip. No, I mean, literally, I'm going in to. They don't even ask me for money. There's no insurance to fill out. I just go up and I say, hey, I want to see the doctor. And they say, oh, go to this room. And I go in there, and it's fast. Maybe I have to wait a little bit, but, for mostly not. So, I mean, okay. So he wants to hold on to as many patients as he can because he gets paid based on that. So I got lucky. Went with my wife one day, and he wasn't there. Then just the nurse was there, and she signed us up to see a specialist, who's from another city, from another town, and that's what happened. That's what happened at the beginning of last month, and so it takes a while. There's a wait for really good doctors. Have a long wait time. Okay, and the fact that this doctor didn't have a long wait time kind of shows you what's going on. And it's very interesting. So I go to this other doctor, this specialist, okay, she looks at my back, she touches it a little bit, and we use Google Translate, and she knows exactly what the problem is. And I'm like, yeah, awesome. The whole time that she is working on patients, she also has I hear it sounds like the radio, like talk radio, blah 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 in Ukrainian, or maybe it was in Russian, I don't know. And when we left, I asked my wife, what the hell was she listening to? And because it was kind of loud. And she said, well, she's taking a course from the university. She's listening to a university lecture. She's trying to learn while she's working. I'm guessing it was probably like a live stream, and she had, she had to like play it or listen, attend the online lecture in order to get her credits. But I mean, just the fact that a good doctor is trying to, and the reason that they are encouraged to do that is because they get more specialties, so they get more patients. And the idea there is whether it works or not, I don't know, but the idea is to create a sort of meritocracy so that, better doctors have more patients, but it's an experiment. It's an interesting experiment. A lot of Ukraine is an experiment. KK's GG, I don't know what you're referring to. Maybe it's, who was it? Maybe Johnny FD streamer did a whole thing about the med exam needed to get his driver's license in Ukraine. Crazy. Then he got the multi-day runaround because he hadn't offered a bribe. Yeah. And you don't know. They don't tell you necessarily. You just get the bureaucratic runaround. Yeah. And then finally you talk to the right person, or you have someone who is Ukrainian. Basically, that's what I do. Okay. So either my wife or somebody else, or I hire a Ukrainian lawyer to just handle it, and then I don't have to deal with it and touch it. So yeah. $270 every 2 weeks for me and my wife here in Texas. Yeah. And I pay 270 grivnas. So I'll take a little corruption for that. You know what I mean? Okay. So let's move on. Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. Looks like Sakai's still going. So KKG, yes, it was a Ukrainian friend that clued him in. Yeah, because he was going around in circles, dealing with the bureaucracy. And those bureaucrats don't get paid very much either. They get paid shit money, and that's the thing is you know governments have to pay enough that it's not worth the risk of um, it's not worth the risk of losing your job to take a bribe. But here in Ukraine, they don't. For economic reasons and what have you. So people are kind of, let's not say required to take bribes, but just to get by. We're talking about even doctors or the person at the Ukrainian. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. Thank you, Aussie Bugger. Exactly. Pay peanuts, you get monkeys. That's a good one. So yeah, it's a problem, and I think that this is why my next article here is Ukraine further integrates into European transport network. This is why Ukrainians want to integrate more into the EU, because they see that the EU is in general less corrupt, I've literally was it early this week or last week? I had one of my Ukrainian students told me, he said that Ukraine should just have import European politicians or Western politicians. He said, and all of Ukrainians politicians should just be from outside of Ukraine for a while until until we get over this. Like, maybe I should run for office, because people will just assume, well, it's true that I won't participate in corruption, partly because I don't know about it and it doesn't make any sense to me. Ukraine integrated so far into the EU that some are living in my neighborhood these days. Yeah. I mean, but the unfortunate flip side of that is that I have heard stories about some Ukrainians who come to like America or Canada, and they try to continue, they maybe just because it's so endemic into the society here, from going even before the Soviet Union. If you And I do not know if it's the case right now, but until very recently, if you wanted to um, get a job in like the government, like a bureaucratic, you know, p- pencil pusher job, you had to buy it. If you want to get a promotion, you have to pay your boss. You have to bribe your boss. It's a little bit the way in the I believe in the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, um, officers had to buy their commission in most Western armies. It's like they just continued that and never changed it from old imperial times, and just Um, it's an interesting question. Do you not think that the bias of corruption is also a Russian propaganda thing? That's an interesting statement. I'm curious what you mean by that. I can kind of see it. I'm wrapping my brain around. I mean, the answer is yes, but in what way? um, are they going to transition to a different track size? Silver Earth. That's good. Thank you for changing my attention to the actual article I have on the screen. That's interesting. Aussie Bugga. Kazakhstan uses retired British judges for its special business courts of law to encourage foreign investments. I had no idea. That's a very interesting idea. Viper says, I've been in Georgia, Europe before Ukraine, and still now it's very corrupt. Sad, but it'll take a generation to get rid of it. Yeah, that's sadly correct. Because people just live the way that they were taught to live, and they don't realize that there's another way to live, and it'll take a generation or two. And the Ukrainians say that all the time. Interesting. I see what you mean, Jonathan. So, in other words, it's part of yes, to make Ukrainians feel they are inadequate even to themselves. Yes, that is a big part of the corruption. Is like to say, well, you know what? We might as well just join Russia because Ukraine is corrupt too. There's no difference between Ukraine and Russia. That's I've heard that from Ukrainians. Some Ukrainians who are quite close to me who have said that. And I've gotten very angry about that. And because, clearly it's not true. You TV and Ham, thank you very much for coming. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Azibaga. I like it when corruption in Ukraine is exposed. This is the point. We want to expose more of it. But yes, as the sod turns, sorry, Jonathan. It is psychological warfare in the same. It's like just their weapon is despair. Nothing I do makes a difference. Nothing is going to change. And frankly, anybody who was raised up in the Soviet Union has a very difficult time getting rid of that mindset of despair. Whereas the generation that was born after the Soviet Union rejects that completely, just rejects it. Absolutely rejects it. Gen Z is the fuel of this. Millennials, yes, to a degree, but mostly Gen Z is the fuel of this whole thing. I would say millennials had their revolution, the Orange Revolution, and it didn't quite go, and so they just kind of threw up their hands and gave up a little bit, and then the Gen Z kind of took it with the Maidan, is what I would say. Cheryl, no, they use evidence-based algorithmic protocols to overcome old doctor syndrome now? I don't know what that means. That sounds scary to me. That sounds like AI. I don't know. Okay. But please explain it. I'm very interested in that. Ronnie says, I have an ulcer from one thought. The right is getting votes on the word immigration. Yeah. And this goes back to what Jonathan was saying about psyops, about information warfare. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that today a lot. Okay. That's on my agenda today. My hope, I like Ozzy Bugger. I like the way you left the H off of hope. My hope is that Ukrainian people will come to reject corruption as much as being a Russian thing they want to discard. How was that for my Australian accent? Okay. Sorry. I apologize. Was that racist of me? I apologize. Okay. Okay, so the point is, I'm very interested in this because I'm living here in Ukraine, and I intend to travel a lot from Ukraine, and so I am very curious about. Sorry, Aussie Bug. I can do a pretty good Australian accent. I remember when Crocodile D came out when I was like 7 years old or 9 or something, like Crocodile D on meth. Yeah, I spoke with an Australian accent for like a year after Crocodile D came out when I was a child, just so you know. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. It was crazy. Anyway. So I am very curious about if they're going to change the tracks, or I know that they've developed these train cars that just automatically switch between the train size, track sizes. Those who are well connected to the internet see how other places succeed with democracy. Yes. And yeah, the internet generation here is definitely the Gen Z, millennials, we grew up with the internet, but here in Ukraine, it didn't really start happening until after like 2005. So, Aussie Bugger, we do not have an accent. Oh God, I can't do it right now. I'm sorry, guys. This is how God speaks. That's funny. That might be true. It might be true. So anyway, 10T. I think it's great. It's a integrated public transportation system for roads, railways, everything. It's one of the things I have loved about living in Europe is I don't need a car. Although there's talk about getting a Why Ukraine car to start making deliveries, kind of maybe teaming up with that is in the works, teaming up with help me, Greg Terry. Yeah. Teaming up with Greg Terry. Paul Gilbert, thanks for coming. But I have to say that one of the things I've loved being here in Europe is not needing to have a car, or maybe just having, like one car. We have one car for the whole family, but it doesn't, I wouldn't trust it driving out of town. Let's put it that way. It's literally was purchased in 1990. Okay. The year the Soviet Union fell. Yes, Viper, I will. That's why I'm going back to physiotherapy. And that is my intention, of course. As long as it takes, God damn it. It's got to keep trying. This war ain't going anywhere, not yet. So, no, it's not. It might have been made by Lada, but it's a Niva, which are these like 4-wheel drive. They look like a Ford Festiva or a mid-'80s Dodge Colt. I can show you. Niva car. Let's see. Yeah. Wait, who stole your name? Oh, Buckethead stole. Okay. Yeah, so these are Nivas. They are 4-wheel drive vehicles, and the one that my wife's father, it belongs to my wife's father, and he maintains it very carefully. But to be honest with you, it's kind of on its last leg. I wouldn't. It might drive to the next town, but it might not come back. To be honest. Okay. Anyway, so this is really good news, and I like it. Yep. And it's happening in the middle of a war. And it's important that it happens in the middle of a war because this increases logistics, capabilities. And logistics is arguably the secret to war. I know that Tridents Against Tyrants spoke about this already. But the yet another claim of a drone attack. Yeah, I like the Niva. I really like that car actually. But I used to have a Ford Festiva. I'm like 6'3", so that's 193 centimeters, and I've always preferred to have rather really tiny cars, just because it makes people think I have a big penis. So that's what's up. Oh, I see we have Maya Poprotskaya back with us. Thanks for coming, Maya. So it's interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think that another front is going to open up? That's my question. Do you think that the Transnistria front is going to open up? Yeah. I mean, it's a question, right? I mean, in a perfect world, Ukraine could basically, I mean, I know, okay, so there's training happening, like NATO is doing training. NATO Moldova training. Oh, yes, Ronnie, thank you for asking. Yes, Rasputitsa, I forget what they call it in Ukrainian. Johnny Pierce told me. Let's see. So NATO has been training with Moldova on Moldovan soil. Here we go. This is the news article that I'm looking for. And I mean, they have been for a while, but I think this is just a really good thing. Maya, if you keep up at it, I'm going to kick you again. Don't come in here and troll. Maya likes to harass volunteers who volunteer in Ukraine. So she's basically a troll. So basically, yeah, she's being investigated by the SBU now. So with that, Maya, I'm going to add you to the block list. Have a nice day, Maya. Yeah. So she literally, but she's been that Maya Poprotskaya person. She's been really saying horrible things, not just about me, but oh yeah, I hate that when it flips you over to top messages instead of all messages. It's so annoying. Yeah, no, and she's been harassing me. She's been harassing Matt, and not just me. I mean, I talked around to some other people in the Legion and stuff. And it turns out she goes around harassing people. She goes on the there's a Russian Telegram called Track a Nazi Merc, where they dig up information about, try to reveal personal information about members of the International Legion, and they say terrible things about them. She probably blocked me in advance. I didn't see your message while in live chat. Oh yeah, yeah. So you might have blocked her from last time. But yeah. So anyway, I talked to some people that I know and who are in the GUR, and yeah, and so she's being investigated. Basically, she might be Ukrainian. I honestly don't know. There are deluded whack jobs all over the place. Her name is actually a Russian form of the name, but real Dave Seaman. I was so nice to her. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, So, anyway, enough about dipshits. So let's see here. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Like I was saying, in a perfect world, Ukraine would have enough forces to help Moldova just finish this Transnistria business. Just finish it off, basically. And then, unfortunately, it's kind of reveals how, because if you think about it, right? I think so. One of you was saying, maybe it was Ronnie, maybe it was you, the last couple of streams. There's a lot of weapons, a lot of shells sitting in Transnistria that Ukraine could really use, but it just shows how, strapped Ukraine really is. Really, really strapped, So we are, and I said this last stream, we are, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Cheryl, so she likes to attack UA tubers who aren't in Ukraine. Yeah, it's interesting. Interesting. Yeah, but the main problem, Cheryl, is that she's actually attacking people who are actually serving, like foreigners who are actually serving in the Ukrainian armed forces, and going around and basically doing the Russians' job for them. So so the hit on Transnistria may have been NATO training. No. No, unfortunately, no. It was Transnistria trying to call in a false flag, you know. Um, but Russia knows it can't do anything about it there. Yeah, Finnish. The Finnish are key peeps. That's a good statement, Yogi, for sure. So I do want to talk about the kind of the information warfare, psychological warfare. That then this is a good transition for that psychological warfare that Russia is doing right now, and just for example here, um, I want to know. I'd like to know how many of you guys know about this. This has been around since last month, or maybe more. Pentagon launches website for oversight of U.S. aid to Ukraine. Pentagon's Office of the Inspector General has launched a new website to improve transparency in the oversight. Like, it's a lot of freaking oversight. And I went to the website, and here it is, ukraineoversight.gov. Okay? And I'll tell you what, it doesn't take too long. Yeah, see you later, Shirkan. Oh, thank God the server is revving down. Volume at 100% sucks for your ears. Sorry, Ronnie. Am I too loud for you guys? I have my volume at 35%, but no, that's for the speakers. Yeah, okay. So Cheryl says I'm gonna go out on a limb and largely blame Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk. I think it goes back a lot further than that. But look, guys, where is this in the news? You know? And let me tell you, I spent a little bit of time. They have improved this website, by the way, since I first started coming on this website. But it does not take very much to get into like spreadsheets here. You can pretty quickly get into, at least when I was on it the last time. I haven't been on this in about a month, you know. But it goes into, you can potentially get into a lot of detail here. And so oversight dashboard. Oh, they've changed it around. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. You guys ready to see a spreadsheet? Let's do it. Let's do it. Like raw freaking data, man. Okay. Everything you want to know. Now, where is this in the news? Have you guys heard about this in the news? I mean, you just keep on hearing the Russian propaganda over and over and over again. You know? Yeah. Yeah, they show that the last 8 months is fuck nothing. Yeah. So yeah, if but nobody cares about this because the sad thing is Russia is not winning the quote unquote war. They are winning, however, arguably the information war. Okay? And it's not being helped by things like this. This is from a couple of days ago, but Instagram moves to limit political content. Or I guess it's from last month. Sorry. But nobody reported on this. Nobody talked about this that I saw. So Maga will say it's fake because it's not on Truth Social. Yeah. So this is like, God, this is the last thing we need. I know that people who go on Instagram, they don't want political content. They don't want to, they want fucking puppies and kittens and makeup tips or whatever. Blonde, it's okay. It's okay. I have docked your pay, however, for your lateness. That's the thing, guys. If you're late, I will remove it from your paycheck. That's my new. Okay, it's my new joke. All right. Right, Ronnie. Yeah, thank you. We should do our own Western propaganda farms. Yeah, pretty much. And this doesn't help because it's the dumbing down, okay, the stupidification of our culture, of Western culture. Yeah, okay, you don't like political content because it gives you a freaking migraine because it makes you worry and shit. Well, think about why it does that. It's because in our political system you don't have the power or the responsibility or the knowledge or the know-how to be able to make the decisions to do the things that you need to do. Okay? Because we spend the first 12 years of our educational lives in a Stalinist totalitarian regime where your every movement is controlled from one classroom to the lunchroom to the next with bells and everything. We don't learn how to be democratic citizens in a democratic country. Even civics classes are removed from most schools, at least in America. So of course, people don't want political content, but this is exactly what Russia wants. This is this is what Putin has done is gotten his people to remove themselves from politics, so that politics is the realm of the quote unquote powerful, of the rich oligarchs and the mafia state, essentially. Oh, Jonathan, yeah, I sent a document to your Discord ideas page on anti-propaganda today. Yeah, I didn't see that one, but I saw the email that you sent, and so if that's the same one, I'm glad you put it on the Discord. That's very good. Thank you, because I meant to and I didn't have time. Real Dave Seaman, troll farms are hard to set up, but we won't reach Russians. That's right, and that's a big problem, right? Their people aren't on the internet, and they blocked their internet off. This is on the Shills. Last time I was talking about this with Jonathan MS Pierce, is we need to block Russia off completely from the internet, because it's a one-way street for them. They are using it in a weaponized way, and we can't penetrate back in. That's why they're cutting off their whole system. Oh, Paul Gilbert, no worries about docking my pay. I get a huge check from George Soros every week. Oh, Silver Earth, very excellent question. I was going to get to that towards the end, but we can talk about it now. When is the raffle for the drone, and how are the winners chosen? I looked for the information in the shop, but didn't see anything about a date. Yes, that's correct. We didn't put a date because the drone raffle will end when we have enough for a drone. If we get more than enough for a drone, like if you guys want to keep going, I will say, okay, the drone raffle is stopped. So right now we have $253 with 11 donations. Now, some of you may have donated to me on PayPal in the last few. If you've donated on PayPal since Wednesday, it won't show up here because I haven't updated that yet. So now the flip side of that is right. So I'm adding. So this is just straight up to buy a drone. Okay, I'm going to add these two together. So whoever put here, they're not entering the raffle. They're just donating for a drone. Okay, so 253 plus 212, so that puts us over $400. So we're halfway. It's going to be about $800 to buy the drone. This is the one that was recommended by Joe McDonald, and so basically, when we hit that point, then the the raffle will end, and the way that it will be randomly chosen, incidentally, and thank you for asking this, by the way, is I have a really cool app. Hey, man, let's run for 2 drones. If you guys want to buy 2 drones, I am all good about it. Okay. But I'd rather buy a drone sooner rather than later. That's my feeling. I don't want to let it sit out there and then people are waiting forever and ever for the raffle to go. It's already been 2 weeks. Yeah. So now I have an app in Shopify that will randomly choose a name for me. Yeah. That's so I don't, so I don't have to do anything. It's pretty cool. Fair enough. Real Dave Seaman. Yeah. So because Joe McDonald came on here and he was like, we don't need all this stuff. We don't need boots. We don't need anything. We just need drones. Drones and cars, or trucks rather, and optics. Let's see. KK's GG. The last. Oh, sorry, that's me. So these are separate drones, or just the ability to donate or buy a ticket for the same drone. Okay. This is a ticket for the raffle for a drone, right here. Raffle to help the Legion get a Big Mac recommended FPV drone. This is to donate, just donate to buy a drone. Okay. All of these, it's the same drone. It's the same pot. They all go in to buy a drone. And I don't care where the money comes from. You could come from your mom, It all goes into so these will be added together. Unless, hey, if we get 800 here and then 800 over there, then we'll buy 2 drones. If we get 1,600 coming in here, okay, then we'll buy, whatever's clever, man. And if you guys disagree and think it should be done differently, let me know. I'll do something else. I'll try something else. That's why we got our Discord and stuff to talk about things like this. I just throw things at the wall and see what sticks. You know what I mean? Yeah, Yogi. The cash comes from your mama. Yeah, well, thank you for asking, KKSGG. It's good to ask. I'm glad you brought it up. I was gonna wait until later on in the stream, but all good. But yeah, so this is a problem. This is the depoliticization of our Western democracies, and I know this is I think I even reported on this earlier before. This is the Business Insider report. Russia, and this is Institute for the Study of War. Oh God, I forgot. Anyway, they're saying Russia will likely lose this war if we can avoid the falling for the lies and this information warfare. I did that once. I don't recommend throwing spaghetti. Should put store link in description. Oh, Holy Oblation. You mean description for the live stream? Shitballs, you're right. I forgot. I will do that when the stream is over, but I should have done it to begin with, shouldn't I? I will make sure to do that next time. I'm going to do another stream tomorrow. So, and tomorrow's stream is probably going to be with Matt or well, I forgot to. Shere Khan was here, and I forgot to ask him if he wanted to come on tomorrow. Matt, of course, he had a seizure last time. As the Sod turns landscape and design incorporate, what's your Discord name? Oh, I'll let Jonathan answer that. He's in our group. You've talked to him, Real Dave Seaman. You've talked to him. You guys know each other. Oh, okay, yeah, Jonathan Brady. So yeah, you've seen him in there. He's in our group. He's in the Discord. Okay, let's let's kind of move on. This is an example, okay, of some Russian tricks that um, one of my students today actually just uh, just told me about. Okay, so this is a brand of tea. I've seen it in some shops here. Um, had another name. It was called Maiska chai. It's owned by a Russian company. They somehow were able to finagle a way to keep selling their tea in Ukraine, and the way they did it was by changing the name to Tripilska Sonsa. That's what that says, by the way, Tripilska Sonsa. And if you want to know what Tripilska is, it's a reference to the Tripilia culture, which I've talked about in some of my very, very early live streams, and I will talk about again. But the Kukutani Tripilia culture is the oldest farming culture basically in the world, if you include the cultures that it descended from, which would be the Vincha culture, which came from the Balkans area and spread across over to Ukraine. And so it's named after, it's called the Tripilia culture because it was discovered, at least in Ukraine, right in, I believe in like the 1930s, it was discovered very close to Kyiv in the city of Tripilia. Ronnie, I like that. We need to get our stories and plans straight to get stuff done. That's right. God damn it. I agree. Yeah. So anyway, this Russian company, they just changed the name of their tea to Tripilska Sonsa to make Ukrainians think that, oh, I'm supporting Ukraine, woohoo. And just to give you, this is a sculpture. There was hundreds, maybe thousands of these goddess sculptures found in Tripilia settlements. And they had the largest, by the way, they had the largest cities. Some people don't define them as cities, but the largest settlements, human occupied settlements in the world, even before Sumeria, these cities, Tripilia cities, were like they had up to 20,000 people or more. So these goddess sculptures, which is what they think they were, hundreds of these were found in every like village. And so this is kind of a symbol of Tripilia, and that's why you can see it on the packaging there. And they've even replicated some of this, like your original Ukrainian culture, and it's all part of their mind games. It's all part of their mind games. So yeah, all over Europe, really fertile women statues, and a lot of it. Wait, hang on. I don't want to talk about that yet. Sorry, shit. No, that's for later. That's my big surprise. Damn it. Okay. They were porn, Mitch. They were porn. We haven't changed that much. maybe. I don't know. But yeah. This was all. If any of you who know about like the old Europe theory, which has now actually been largely proven with alterations. Anyway, so just moving on to keep on topic about this propaganda, the information warfare. And that you may have heard about this before, but there was a road accident in Poland. Okay, it was a road accident, and Russian, well, pro-Russian Polish internet resources, Telegram channels, and bots on social media platforms X and TikTok began spreading information that the alleged suspect in the case was a Ukrainian military officer. They also claimed that Polish authorities were attempting to conceal this fact. So they're and they're just scrambling to spread lie after lie after an effluvium of lies. Okay. So, and then going back to the stupid Crocus terrorist attack, which we were pretty sure now, I mean, it was ISIS, but with some level of FSB or Russian authority involvement, in the sense of, at the very least, negligence allowing it to happen, basically. Hey, Elvin Archer, thanks for coming, my man. Good to see you here. Good to see you. Somebody, if you would please send Elvin Archer a link to the Discord. Oh shit, maybe I need to. Elvin Archer, send me an email, man. Send me an email. Okay. A fire hose of lies. Thank you, Cheryl. And so they're fake passport photos of Ukrainians allegedly involved in this attack. And then we've got this one, and this is hits a little close to home for me. Russia continues to produce fakes about Ukraine's international legion, right? And this is where that Maya Poprotskaya keeps on like causing problems, and she's feeding into this. This is how even Ukrainians are falling for this stuff, Sorry, Ronnie. It's okay. I mean, you don't have to join the Discord. I totally understand. We will figure out other ways to communicate for sure as time goes on. So the thing about it is, just like with the Trapilska tea, Russia's just constantly this effluvium, and because a lot of Ukrainians are on Telegram and they're reading Russian language channels because that is their primary language, they're falling for this stuff. And that's to the extent that they even know that the International Legion exists. Oh, hi. Managed to get on Discord yesterday, so all is well. Yay! Huzzah! We are the champions. Oh, Ronnie, you're already in my Discord. Oh. All right. I'm sorry, guys. See, the thing is, everybody has different names on Discord. I mean, my name is different on Discord, so I just get totally confused by people. You have to tell me like who you are, and then of course we have our real names as well, and it's all very confusing. So my apologies. But yeah, so and the problem with this is it crowds out the actual information that needs to get out there. And Ronnie's different name is Ronnie. Well, my different name is Dumbass. That's that's my different name. So I am thinking about getting together some Ukrainian volunteers who would like to. I think that's the best thing is to get some Ukrainian volunteers, and I know this there have been plans about this before, but to get some Ukrainian volunteers to first of all fight against that Russian propaganda within Ukraine, to do some PR for example, the International Legion. It's okay, Cheryl. We greeted you on the Discord. It's all good. Yeah. The West has totally underestimated Russian info warfare, both blatant and subtle. Aha, Ronnie, gotcha. Ronnie Rankin, gotcha. I am not. Oh, Paul, I am not on the Discord. Tried and was rejected. Could you? Oh, maybe the invite might have expired. That's possible. Okay, you might have to send me an email. If you go to the Last Alliance page here, and you just scroll down to the bottom. I don't need that. Scroll down to the bottom. Damn it, I have an email. Oh, contact information, and there it is. And my contact information. Oh wow, I just doxed myself. Anyway, and you can there's my email address. So, holy crap, that's. I guess it's all on the internet now. Shit. All right. Well, there we go. Anyway, yeah, you can find me. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Let's move along because we all have lives, right? All right. So just continuing on this takes the cream of the crop to me. Okay. So this is actually from last month, but fake observers from Europe and America at pseudo elections in occupied Ukraine. So at those elections in Zaporizhia, Kherson, Donetsk, and Luhansk, they wouldn't allow independent observers from the UN. The Russians wouldn't. So instead, they handpicked these pro-Ukraine traitors. So this guy, in the occupied part of the Kherson region, the main newsmaker for the Russian media was American Daniel Martin Kovalik. There he is. He lives in Pittsburgh and wrote articles for the English language pro-Russian outlet Counterpunch. It's very interesting. I used to listen to Counterpunch. Or did I read it? I can't remember. In the early days, before 2016. And I was taken in by as being a lefty, I was definitely taken in by some of that. And then in 2016, FBI agents discovered that some of the so-called authors on Counterpunch were fake, and behind them were employees of the Russian GRU. I'm just going to look. I hate to even give them the. Yep, there it is. I used to check this all the time. Oh wow. Wow, and they are basically all they do is try to sow disinformation. Look at this thing here. CIA agents who believe the heirs to Fidel Castro focused death rays at their skulls and believe it with such conviction that they suffered vertigo and nausea. So they're basically talking about what I was talking about last stream, and they're totally debunking, or trying to debunk anyway, the fact that Russian agents are using probably microwave warfare, electronic warfare to attack Americans. And we talked about last stream. I guess I'm a useful idiot now, Jonathan. Yeah, I was, but that's the thing. It's like a frog boiling in the water. And I just remember it must have been right around 2016 or something that I started just picking up on, like, I don't really, that seems strange. And I said, and I just got a weird reaction to it. And I wasn't even thinking about Russian propaganda. But a lot of people get sucked in by this. A lot of people. I used to like some of their articles. They had a radio program for a while that I used to listen to, and it was literally being written by employees of the GRU. Yeah, I'm not okay with Mordor doing this. Yeah. And it's really exactly, when I think about it, I'm thinking exactly about like Mordor, you know. Um, and Real Dave Seaman, thank you for following up on that with Elvin Archer. I appreciate it. You are fined 1 drone penalty. Herb. Okay. I don't know if that's how it works, but okay. Yeah. And speaking of people who are in the thrall of effectively in the thrall of Russian actors, there's a picture of one right here. You know, yeah. So Kovalik is a supporter of the conspiracy theory of and believes that Western democracies are trying to discredit peaceful Russia. And it just goes on and on with people from different countries. David Caccioni. Now this is very interesting. Okay, from Italian ska punk band. So it's very interesting. They're picking up these leftist people from my generation, arguably. Okay, give me a second. I'm actually going to write that down. Elvin Archer 78. Okay. I will find you, and I will invite you. Elvin Archer, you have been warned. Blonde, you only got fined. They docked my pay. But yeah, so this is in particular, they're taking advantage of basically jaded. I know it's shocking. Jaded Gen Xers. Yeah, thank you, Real Dave Seaman. I will forget. Yeah, in one ear, out the other. Jaded Gen Xers, with left wing views, and they're inviting these people. So they've handpicked these people. Now they start out with left wing people, but as you go down, there's also far right wing guys that are basically neo Nazis. So this guy, these are German people: Andreas Jurka, Elena Rune, and Ulrich Singer from AfD, Alternative for Germany, right wing party. So they're handpicking these people so that they can say we had observers at the election. Okay, but not to say like people don't want to look any further than that. I don't know who this person is, but I don't know. Lucien Cerise, far right activist who opposes democracy and believes that Western countries want to take over countries such as China, Russia, and Iran, which are fighting world-destroying globalization. So just and then we get into the Serbians. It's that we go down and down. We get into worse and worse people as we go through this article. Yeah. So again, these are they useful idiots? When do you cross the line? Hello, Andreas. Thanks for coming. But when do you cross the line between useful idiot and saboteur? Okay. And my question is, what is going to happen? Look, okay, we know that we're kind of a World War III. Okay, it's that's what's, and okay, you want to call it a Cold War II or World War III, maybe, but these guys need to face consequences. At least the ones from my country do. They need to face some consequences for this activity. Okay? And I know freedom of speech, yada, yada, but they actually physically went to the occupied territories of Ukraine and aided and abetted. This is why Russia needs to be declared a state sponsor of terrorism. Okay? I know this has been talked about already, but this is the article about Russia has already hired 14,000 policemen in the occupied territories. So their information warfare, their brainwashing is working. You can't tell me that all of these guys are secretly working for the GUR. They're not secretly working for Ukraine, all of them. They're not going to be all partisans even. Okay? These are Ukrainians who were living in free Ukraine until 2022. I mean, I'm curious about how many of them are from Donetsk or Luhansk. I don't think it says that in this article. So I think they're mostly from Zaporizhia and Kherson. And maybe it's possible that they are joining the police force so that they can avoid the torture chamber themselves. That's one way to do it. A number of we've all seen like the movies and stuff where Jews were hired to police other Jews in the ghetto, but they all ended up getting shipped to Auschwitz in the end. But that's how it's the exact same techniques, And so here we see Putin opens up a branch of, this is the Ministry of Internal Affairs, which is the Ministry of Internal Affairs is basically the federal police. And so they've started an academy to train people to be fascists and to indoctrinate people. So these guys that they're hiring can they're just replicating their evil over and over and over again. And the thing is our countries, our governments are allowing them to do this. They're allowing them to get away with this. They're building this rail system. They've almost got it completed. And this is the rail system that's going to go across southern Ukraine, across Zaporizhia. And they've just got like one little section left. And it's going to be a lot more difficult to destroy this. I mean, they can destroy it, but it can be repaired very quickly. It's going to be a lot more difficult to keep this destroyed than the Kerch Bridge. Okay? When the Kerch Bridge gets blown up, it should have happened already. Where's our Taurus missiles? But when the Kerch Bridge gets really, really for real blown up, they want to have this as an extra. And just to give you a sense of where this is, we can take a look at Google Maps. You probably know this already if you guys are following these things. But so we start out right in the middle of Ukraine. Sorry. Too far. I have so many freaking windows open that my computer's freaking out. Sorry. I apologize, guys. I need to close up some windows. Close up something, James. Jesus Christ. What can I close? Oh, I don't want to close that. I don't want to close that either. I don't want to close anything. I'm not going to do it. Okay. So the point here is the train tracks, the last part of it is being built right across here. This area here. And maybe we ought to go to deep state map. Yeah. So we'll back out a little bit here. So this is where it's being built right across here. It's crazy, I mean, I've been to these places. I took a vacation in Berdyansk, and to think about what it's going to be like when I go back there someday, it's going to be awful. Possum Nation says, my best friend from high school is indoctrinated by Joe Rogan. Unfortunately, it's a stepping. I mean, I've listened to Joe Rogan too. Okay. And I think some of his stuff was interesting, but then he has, calling a lot of crazy conspiracy things on there too. And it's like It's a step down. It's down the rabbit hole, you know, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the rabbit hole of ignorance. Wait. By Ronnie. Wait. Unfortunately, by telling everybody you're actually spreading propaganda, that's crazy. By sharing propaganda, you're spreading. Okay, hang on. What's the propaganda? This is how far worldwide people get the Russian narrative. Okay, wait. I want to see what's the Russian propaganda. Oh, maybe I missed it. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I like I was saying earlier, I almost feel guilty about just showing counterpunch because every click counts for something. You know, it sucks. Um, you know, so it's like we're fighting for space. You know, I mean, I want to share things sometimes on my YouTube or whatever that are like, hey, look at this, it sucks. You know, don't pay attention to these guys, you know, Scott Ritter or whatever. But just sharing that is enough. Like negative attention is still attention, unfortunately. So I'm sorry, I don't know if the link got automatically deleted or something, but I didn't see it. So it's okay, Ronnie. You didn't share it with me. Yeah, we must never forget that truth is stronger than lies, just as love and peace are always more powerful than hate and war. Knowledge is power. Yeah, Blonde. Agreed. So, you know, unfortunately, we, the collective, you, me, and we have to force our politicians. We have to lead our leaders. We have to take them, take them by the freaking ankles and push them. Right. That is why I say by sharing, you tell the algorithms to push content. Yeah, it's sadly, and so I like what Dr. Gerdes was doing for a while, where he was watching stuff, and also Dylan Burns does this. He was watching these, Russian shills online, and debunking them. Okay, and I like that because he watches that shit, so I don't have to. I kind of like that. I think that's okay. Oh, Rogan platforms the Cretan Hancock. Yeah. I like the documentary. It brought to light the link between Kremlin and Trump. Since that came out, the public often associate them now. Which documentary are we actually talking about? I'm not going to play it. I promise. I'm not going to look it up. Okay. Let me close up some windows so that my computer doesn't freak out. Here. Okay. All right. Let's talk about something awesome. Can we? Let's talk about something good. Guys, I want to show you guys this. I was trying to save it for towards the end. What is this, you may ask? Some of you guys have been asking. You've been saying, we would like to sponsor a drone like assembly plant or kit. Somebody who's building drones. Okay? Guess what I just found? One of my friends from the Legion. I think he's not active service now because he got injured, but he is in Ukraine. He's an American. He is in Ukraine. And he's building drones. And he just happened to post, and I would show you the video of this drone flying, but it also, obviously, it's in Ukraine, and you can, I don't want it to be geolocated, basically. But I might share the video in our Discord. So look for that. I need to get permission. But yeah, so I talked to him, and he was like, yeah, unfortunately, I need some parts. I need this, that, and the other thing. He's going to make this an FPV. So he needs goggles, basically. and he sent me a link for the goggles that he wants or needs, and I'm gonna, I love doing a fundraiser for an actual drone, right? But these are $800, okay, and maybe it's cheaper and better to fund the building of drones. We can fund. Possum Nation, thank you for asking. What if people who are Russian trolls are gifted subs and they join Discord? Sorry to be paranoid, but that's just a thought. Yeah, it's very interesting. That you will notice that my Discord, if you go in there, is extraordinarily complex, and that's why I have different levels of memberships. As the sod turns to Jonathan, I will ask if he needs money for a 3D printer. I'm sure he does. But basically, yeah, this is like I literally just discovered this today. Need to be careful about the chips control board. Some have been sabotaged according to Grade. Yes, absolutely. This one, it's very interesting. So he's building this as an FPV. Okay. How do we say? Oh my God. Single prop. I don't know. I'm using plain terms now. FPV single prop. Okay. Which means it doesn't require such sophisticated control electronics. In other words, when I say a drone controller, what I'm actually talking about is the drone, the electronics inside the drone itself. So just in the future, just please, when I say drone controller, I'm talking about this, something like this. Okay. All right. Now an FPV, this is basically just an RC plane. That's really all it is. Okay, you put a camera on the front of it, and you don't need to have these really sophisticated controls because you're just using remote control at that point. You do need some servo electronics and all of that. Yes, you still need some of that, but it's not quite as sophisticated. It doesn't need to be quite as sophisticated. So that's what he's working on, and I think it's very promising. And it had its successful maiden flight. Although I think it did crash, but it survived the crash. So it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Oh, Salt of the Red Earth. Let's see. The Brainwashing of My Father. There's a documentary called that. That's very interesting. Okay, I'm taking notes so I don't forget. The Brainwashing of My Father documentary. I better documentary. Otherwise I'll be like, what the fuck? I'll totally forget. Okay, very good, excellent. Let's see. They would be ideal to develop as a kit so people can build from home. Yes, without so much of a need for sophisticated. Now there are disadvantages to having a single prop FPV drone like this. Okay, a quadcopter FPV drone like this one that I have on the screen here. It's more maneuverable. And this is not intended as an FPV drone. It's meant to carry multiple loads. That's why I think it's worth. So I really love the fundraising. I really love the fundraising that you guys are doing with Rick and Trident Skins Tyrants and everything else. They're cheaper drones. They're FPV drones. I think one of the reasons why this one is a little more expensive is because it's a multiple use as opposed to an FPV drone that is generally single use. They're kamikaze. So a drone like this more than likely is going to be a kamikaze drone. He should join. What's Wild Hornets, Mitch? Do tell. Do tell. So this is my big excitement. Okay. Styrofoam, pop bottles, super glue, simple electronics. Yeah. Yep. So pretty soon on my site, I mean, I know I'm slow, guys, but pretty soon on my site, we're going to start having parts for drones. We need the expensive drones to see where to smash the cheap ones into, right? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So we're going to start seeing parts for drones on here. Okay. That's coming. That's coming. Big revamp of my site, of this site is coming. It's just, step by step, one thing at a time. This weekend I am going to pay $79 for someone to help me do a whole bunch of stuff. Actually, I'm going to pay $79 to have someone basically program for me Discord integration with the Shopify, so that when you buy something on the website here, or if you make a donation, you get an invitation to the Discord. Okay. Mitch Ashdown, something Hornets. Yeah, checking. Okay. They make a lot of drones. Always into it. I'm accumulating drone parts suppliers, kind of accumulating like on my Facebook. I'm always getting hit. I'm looking for them so much. There's a lot of drone parts suppliers now here in Ukraine. So Ronnie, let's see. If I think about it, you guys in the USA will be okay. We in the EU and UK thought we had an ally in you. That orange is kicking out ass. Yeah, it's really true. And my name there. Okay. So your name is a Xenarthran mammal. That's cool. All right. That's cool. Okay. Is it Warthog? All right. I don't know. Are warthogs Xenarthrans? No. Anteaters are. Okay. Anyway. The real Dave Seaman, can I call? All right, I'm getting too into what your guys' conversations, and it's making me laugh too much. So this was my big announcement today, guys, that I'm super excited about. Boom. So drones thing is happening. I am good with a soldering iron, but too old to fight. When I finish, this is Paul Gilbert. When I finish divorcing the Russian who was in my life, I could be happy sitting in the basement making drones. Yeah, man. I mean, in theory, we might set up like people in the United States who want to, because you can't really, or it's difficult to ship a drone into, but maybe we can have you can make parts of drones, and then we'll ship the parts, and then they get fully assembled in Ukraine. It's it's this is why I created this Discord, is to talk about things like that, So this is my big happiness that I'm here to talk about. I need to talk about something fucked up and sad. Anthony, Tony, we still have not heard from. I have this week. Oh, Salt of the Red Earth, thank you. I have this week. I was able to contact someone who I knew who served with Tony in his original group when he was his original unit, the 70th, when he was in Kupiansk. And so that person was actually my commander in the Legion, my immediate commander. When I say commander, I have lots of different commanders, or had lots of different commanders, right? Oh, that's interesting, Elvin Archer. I'd love to be making drones. The thing is doing it. Lost. Okay. Doing it outside UA would need a hub for folks to send to and save postage. Yeah. And I think we could get that arranged. I think we could get that arranged. That's something we could definitely do, because I think we have people here who could handle that part of it. Okay. Shit. I mean, no. I hope he wasn't taken prisoner, Jonathan. But people are out there asking questions, and I mean, I don't expect to hear back right away. Obviously, these things take a while. So I was going to try and hunt down. First thing I was told was to contact the commissariat. I was like, all right, but it's much better to have internal connections, So I'm just kind of waiting to hear back and hoping for the best. I'm hoping that he just lost his phone. That's what I'm hoping for. Can the dude start a company so he can buy his drones? Yeah. Oh, yeah. This guy. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Why not? Get with Greg Terry about shipping. Yeah, he ships a lot to Ukraine. Yeah, it's funny you should mention that, because did Greg get back to me today? Hang on. Let's see. Hey, Greg just got in touch with me. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he literally got in touch with me yesterday, and I didn't see it because it was too late. And okay. So Zhenya is going to call me, and basically, with one of you whose name I cannot reveal yet at his request, in 2 weeks. So that means the week of the 22nd through the 26th. I'm going to be doing something. I'm going to be, well, I don't know exactly yet, so I can't announce too much, but we're going to have a vehicle, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to deliver this drone and a bunch of tourniquets, and we are going to go on the road. It's going to be a road trip. Yeah, I can't say shit yet, but there's going to be a road trip across Ukraine. I don't have all the details yet, but it's coming. So I might have information for you by the time my live stream tomorrow. So, all right, guys. I feel like we ended on. Yes, I am going to be on the Shills. That starts in like 15 minutes. So I better go down. I better go slarf down some food. I made myself a quesadilla. Yes, sir. You're right. OPSEC is everything. Absolutely true. I better go slarf down the quesadilla because I think the Shills starts at 10 o'clock, and that's in 15 minutes. So, I want to thank everybody for coming. Oh, Blonde, you know the secret, but you're not telling. Oh, so, but I will be doing a stream tomorrow. It's probably going to be at 6 p.m. my time, so 2 hours earlier. 6 p.m., maybe 7. It depends on if Matt can join or not. Anyway, yeah. So, I hope to see you guys on the Shills, and thank you so much. Hey, if you got an extra $5 or an extra $1, you can put $1 towards a drone. And always remember, if you want to use PayPal, you can use this QR code. Don't use my email address. Don't use the email address on my site for PayPal. Don't do that. That's bad. Okay. Thanks, guys. And do побачення. By the way, if you don't know what do побачення means, it basically means like see you later in Ukrainian. So, James, there is a vid Tochny did on Wild Hornets. Okay. I will Tochny Wild Hornets. Yeah. I will take that down. I'm always look because it's tough to find these guys, man. It's tough to find them. That's all right, Elvin Archer. Next time, though, I'm docking your pay. All right. Slava Ukraine, guys. Catch you later. Oh no, you used my email? Oh shit. All right, it just okay. Well, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. It's just going to take some okay. Use the scan code for if you want to use PayPal. Do that. Okay. All right. All right. Bye guys.